steady rocking. Keep it going, clocking. I stay steady rocking. Keep it going, clocking. I stay steady rocking. Keep it going, clocking. I stay steady rocking. Keep it going, clocking.
This is Hunter Biden, and you should totally vote for my daddy because he's got a crack team of experts behind him.
Hey, is anybody gonna pay for this dance, by the way? That's how I make my living.
Obviously, I'm at the ballet. I'm at the ballet, and it's time for the experts.
The truth has arrived.
You damn right it has. Yeah. The truth on a Friday. DNC is over. We didn't learn a damn thing. I think it's time to start the show. What do you think? This is Jonathan Gilliam back on the Experts Podcast. Happy Friday. The truth has arrived, and thank you, Hunter Biden, for starting out the show. I'm going to play the speech that he and his sister gave. It's no better than that little satire thing that I did there at the beginning. But there's some things in the news today that are kind of mind-boggling. The first one is this. Fox News is gone. They're gone. They might as well just cash their chips in for Joe Biden because they pretty much have already. I mean, the stuff that they say and the way that they describe Joe Biden is though he's like Chris Wallace. He acts like he has a love affair with this guy and just talking about how he is amazing and he's totally opposite what Trump said and he's not, senile. And the guy was reading off a teleprompter and it wasn't that great. And let me play this one of his daughter and his son. No, Hunter. Who is the person that chose to put Hunter Biden, the drug addict, the thief, the criminal that Joe Biden basically extorted another country to get him a job? Whose right mind was it to have him there? And he looks like a burnout. I wish I had the video for you to see. I'll just listen to what it sounds like.
I'm Hunter Biden.
And I'm Ashley Biden.
Joe Biden is our dad.
And Beau is our brother.
We want to tell you what kind of president.
So, yes, Joe Biden is their dad, and Beau has passed away. I think Beau was a responsible one out of them. Hunter was absolutely not. Beau is no longer with us. He died of cancer shortly before his wife started having an affair with Hunter. I guess that's just a side story. All right, keep going.
And our dad will be.
He will be tough.
And honest.
Caring and principled.
He'll listen. He'll be there when you need him.
He'll be in another room or he'll be in the corner walking in circles. Probably not knowing what state he's in, but he'll be there.
He'll tell you the truth even when you don't want to hear it.
He'll never.
Yeah, he'll tell you the truth. But he'll also tell you a whole lot of lies, like about popcorn or corn pop, whatever the guy's name was. And he'll lie to you about what university he went to and the level of experience he has. Hell, he'll even tell you that he's Joe Biden's wife. Anyway.
You down.
He'll be rock steady.
The strongest shoulder you can ever lean on.
The strongest shoulder you could ever lean on. What happened to his voice right there? Did he go into 1950s medical show? The strongest shoulder
He'll beam with pride every time you succeed.
He'll make your grandkids feel that what they've
He'll make your grandkids feel like they got to run. That's what he'll make your grandkids feel like. This is a drug addict telling us that Joe Biden's going to make your grandchildren feel a certain way.
got to say matters.
He'll treat everyone with respect, no matter who you are.
He'll get up no matter how many times he's been knocked down.
He'll be the worst enemy any bully ever saw.
Yeah.
He'll be the best friend you've ever had.
Yeah.
He'll love you with all of his heart.
Oh, yeah.
And if you give him your cell phone number,
He's going to call it.
That is the creepiest thing I've ever heard. Who would want Joe Biden calling you? And why would you be giving him your cell phone? That means if he has your cell phone, he's going to be calling himself.
how do we know?
Because he's been that way our whole lives.
He's been a great father.
And we think he'll be a great president.
He's definitely a great enabler. I'll give it to him that way. He really does enable his son, Hunter.
Bo isn't with us any longer.
But he is still very much alive in our hearts. And we can still hear his strong voice,
Just like it was yesterday.
just like it was yesterday.
Did it happen yesterday? I'll have to check into that.
In 2008 and 2012, he introduced our dad at those conventions.
And if he was here, we're pretty sure we'd know what he'd say.
He would say, Hunter, what the F are you doing in this commercial? Who actually put this commercial together? That's what he would probably say. We'll see.
So before we show you a film about our dad's journey, we wanted to give Bo the last word. Bo?
Bo, take it away.
In moments both public and private, he's the father I've always known, the grandfather my children love and adore, my father, my hero, Joe Biden.
Magical. Yeah. Interesting. That was the beginning of that speech. Now I got to go back and try to find the actual Joe Biden speech here. Let me see here. Let me type that in. Joe Biden. Oh, my computer froze up. It doesn't want to look up Joe Biden's speech. Biden. There it is. DNC 2020. Here we go. I may or may not play all of it. It's 24 minutes long. I don't think I want to play that much of it, but I just want to see where Chris Wallace, went orgasmic over Joe Biden today. So let's listen.
Ella Baker, a giant of the civil rights movement, left us with this wisdom. Give people light, and they will find the way. Give people light. Those are words for our time. The current president has cloaked American darkness for much too long. Too much anger, too much fear, too much division. Here and now, I give you my word. If you entrust me with the presidency, I will draw on the best of us, not the worst. I will be an ally of the light, not the darkness.
Yeah.
It's time for us, for we the people, to come together. And make no mistake, united we can and will overcome this season of darkness in America.
This season of darkness, which has been caused by calamity after calamity that had nothing to do with President Trump, and the rest of the image of the darkness and the split in politics has come, largely in part by the Democrat Party. And let's face it, this guy's been in office for over 40 years. He's done nothing. There's no great thing that you can say. Joe Biden will say he did this great thing and that great thing. But like I said yesterday, the majority of stuff that they do amounts to nothing. It amounts to absolutely nothing. But keep speaking there, brother.
We'll choose hope over fear, facts over fiction, fairness over privilege.
So I guess he changed that. We used to be facts over truth.
I'm a proud Democrat, and I'll be proud to carry the banner of our party into the general election.
The Communist Party. Keep going.
So it's with great honor and humility I accept this nomination for President of the United States of America. But while I'll be a Democratic candidate, I will be an American president.
If you got elected.
I'll work hard for those who didn't support me, as hard for them as I did for those who did vote for me. That's the job of a president, to represent all of us, not just our base or our party. This is not a partisan moment. This must be an American moment.
This, quite frankly, is the most partisan moment in the history of this nation. Largely in part because of the communist left and the rhino right. That's the people, that's the establishment now. And like I said yesterday, the useful idiots on the left and the patriots that are just too comfortable on the right, who don't do anything except sit back and celebrate Laura Loomer or whatever else they got going on.
It's a moment that calls for hope and light and love. Hope for our future. Light to see our way forward, and love for one another. America isn't just a collection of clashing interests of red states or blue states.
It kind of is.
We're so much bigger than that.
No, not really.
We're so much better than that.
Used to be.
Nearly a century ago, Franklin Roosevelt pledged a New Deal in a time of massive unemployment, uncertainty, and fear.
A century ago. Joe Biden was in politics not too long after that. That's how long he's been there.
Stricken by a disease, stricken by a virus, FDR insisted that he would recover and prevail, and he believed America could as well. And he did, and we can as well. This campaign isn't just about winning votes. It's about winning the heart and, yes, the soul of America. Winning it for the generous among us, not the selfish. Winning it for workers who keep this country going, not just the privileged few at the top.
Now, I wonder if he's got a cold or if his sinus cavity has collapsed from sniffing too much Coke. I wonder which one it is.
Winning it for those communities who have known the injustice of a knee on the neck. For all the young people who have known only America being rising inequity and shrinking opportunity. They deserve the experience of America's promise. They deserve to experience it in full.
Which is not what the Democrat Party is going to give them, because they're going to give them everything free, and then everybody else is going to be paying for it. And then when they get a little bit older, they're going to have to pay for it. It's a big scam, folks. Youngins, if you're listening, it's all a big scam. But you'll learn. Listen, you vote this guy in, you will learn the hard way. But you'll learn.
No generation ever knows what history will ask of it.
Seems like every generation can go back and see what history has asked and kind of base it upon that.
All we can ever know is whether we're ready when that moment arrives.
That's not true.
And now history has delivered us to one of the most difficult moments America's ever faced.
Manufactured moments. These are manufactured moments. Take, for instance, the coronavirus. COVID-19. By the way, it's not COVID-19 because there's been 19 COVIDs. It's because of the year 19. Side note. But this virus has been completely manipulated to the point where people don't even listen. We've argued about masks. We've argued about how dangerous it is and what the death rate is. We don't actually know any of this stuff. And the problem is, one doctor will say this, one doctor says that, politician says this, politician says that. And people that are just trying to have a business or run a life or raise kids are stuck in the middle. And we have no clue about the reality. How many of you out there actually know and can say, without being stupid, I know exactly what the deal is with this virus? None of you. I had it. I saw somebody close to me die from it in 11 days. I don't know what to make of it. I mean, I feel fine. I have bad joint pain and stuff now, but other than that, I feel fine. I see other people that have lost their taste and smell, but they're not dying. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. It doesn't seem like the death rate is as high as they say, not even close. The death rate was so high between March and May because of Cuomo and several other governors that put 60, 70,000 people. We don't even know the number of people that caught COVID because they put those COVID patients in there and then they infected other people. We don't even know the number. We don't know. But it's probably well over 70,000. We know at least 11,000 in New York alone. I'm sorry, Biden. Let's get back to your speech, buddy. Sorry about that.
Four historic crises, all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
A perfect storm.
Mm-hmm.
The worst pandemic in over 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
The worst economic.
I don't think it's the worst pandemic in over 100 years. AIDS was the worst pandemic in over 100 years. It killed a lot of people. Of course, 1819 was really bad, the Spanish flu. But this one, I don't think, honestly, even though I had it and know somebody who's died, I don't think that the virus is as bad if it's controlled properly. And that is the problem. Nobody in government had a clue on how to control this thing. And they put up measures that people don't want, and they're pissed, and they don't come up with anything else. They just mandate them to do it like they're little children, and they just mandate them to do it. Instead of sitting down and having conversations saying, this is why, and we need to do this together. Have you heard one politician say that? No. Go, Joe.
Crisis since the Great Depression. The most compelling call for racial justice since the 60s. And the undeniable realities and just the accelerating threats of climate change. So the question for us is simple.
Yeah.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
I believe we are.
For Trump.
We must be. You know, all elections are important.
Mm-hmm.
But we know in our bones this one is more consequential.
Yeah, because we don't want to go to communist
Many have
country.
said America's at an inflection point.
Mm-hmm.
A time
Infection.
of real peril.
It's an infection
but also
point.
Extraordinary possibilities.
Yeah.
We can choose a path of becoming angrier, less
Probably.
hopeful, more divided,
Mm-hmm.
a path of shadow and suspicion.
Most likely.
Or we can choose a different path and together
No.
take this chance.
Not going to
heal,
happen. Joe, it's not going to
to
happen.
Reform, to unite.
Joe.
A path of hope and love.
Joe, it's not going to happen.
This is a life-changing election.
Yeah, for you.
This will determine what America is going to look like for a long, long time.
If we go to communism, yes.
Character is on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Compassion is on the ballot.
Yeah.
Decency, science, democracy.
Communism.
They're all on the ballot.
Communism. Say communism.
Who we are
Communism.
as a nation. What we stand
Say
for.
communism,
most
Joe.
importantly, Who we want to be.
He's not gonna
That's
say
all
communism.
on the ballot.
Communism.
And the choice could not be more clear.
It's communism.
No rhetoric is needed. Just judge this president on the facts.
Communism.
5 million Americans infected by COVID-19. More than 170,000 Americans have died. By far the worst performance of any nation on earth.
Nah,
More than
because of the
50
governors.
million
Oh,
people
ho, ho. I
filed.
got to stop you right there. Joe, the performance has been by the governors. The president has not micromanaged this. He has given the states what they asked for, and the governors are the ones, and the mayors of the big cities, they're the ones who mucked it up. And I hate to break it to you, Joe. I hate to break it to you. It's Democrats, Democrat leaders, Democrat governors and mayors. They totally screwed it up, Joe. I'm sorry. It wasn't Trump. It was you guys. And heaven forbid if you were in the White House. We probably would have been grandstanded to 200,000 between March and May. Stop looking at me. Go.
Unemployment this year. More than 10 million people are going to lose their health insurance this year. Nearly 1 in 6 small businesses have closed this year.
Mm-hmm.
And this president, if he's reelected, You know what will happen.
Well, I do know what's going to happen if the states keep everything closed, Joe. This has nothing to do with the president.
Cases and deaths will remain far too high.
Yeah.
More mom and pop businesses will close their doors, and this time for good.
Because of states.
Working families will struggle to get by.
Because of Democrats.
And yet the wealthiest 1% will get tens of billions of dollars in new tax breaks.
And those people will work.
And the assault on the Affordable Care Act will continue until it's destroyed.
Yep.
Taking insurance away from more than 20 million people, including more than 15 million people on Medicaid.
We don't know that for sure.
Getting rid of the protections that President Obama worked so hard to get passed for people who have 100 million more people who have pre-existing conditions. And
Obamacare did nothing for me. And most people that I know, Obamacare did nothing. But you can keep pointing your finger at me, but it's not true.
Speaking of President Obama,
sorry, Joe.
a man I was honored to serve alongside.
Yeah, he loves you.
Vice President.
He loves you.
Let me take this moment to say something we don't say nearly enough. Thank you, Mr. President. You were a great president.
We don't say it, Joe. I don't mean to be rude to you, but we don't say it because there's nothing to say it for. He was worthless, as were you. I mean, let's just be honest. Like men, you can be like a man who did too much cocaine with your son. I'm just an honest man, but let's be men.
A president our children could and did look up to. No one's going to say that about the current occupant of the White House.
See, you had to go down that road. You had to turn into a dick. I mean, you kind of look like one, but anyway.
What we know about this president is if he's given 4 more years, he'll be what he's been for the last 4 years. A president who takes no responsibility, refuses to lead, blames others, cozies up to dictators, and fans the flames of hate and division.
Yeah, he did that every day. He was out there doing that. Just fanning flames with dictators. That's all President Trump did. He's a big dictator flame fanner. It's an idiot.
He'll wake up every day believing the job is all about him, never about you.
Let's see. He lives in a world where media, all media, every single media platform talks about him 24, almost said 27, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It is about him. It's about him because he's somebody who's not like you. And he was chosen because of who he is. So yeah, it's about him. We made it about him. Joe?
Is that the American you want?
Yes.
For you, your family, your children?
Yeah. I talked to all of them.
Different America. One that's generous and strong, selfless and humble. It's an America we can rebuild together.
Yeah, you too close proximity building anything with you. I don't want to share hammers. I have a feeling you'll be touching me. No.
As president, the first step I will take will be to get control of the virus that has ruined so many lives.
That the Democrat Party is responsible for putting COVID patients in retirement homes and killing over 60,000 people. That's on you. That's your party. That's how you all plan it. Do you get it? Stop just staring at me. Say something.
Because I understand something this president hasn't from the beginning.
Oh, what's that?
We
Sniffles.
will never get our economy back on track. We will never get our kids safely back in school.
That's a positive message.
We'll never have our lives back until we deal with this virus.
So how do you plan on dealing with it? Locking everybody down? Making everybody wear a mask? That's all anybody's given to us at all. Stay home, wear a mask. Don't work out. Apparently don't go to karaoke bars. This is my sassy talk, by the way. I'm chewing a piece of gum. That's all you've done, Joe. Shut down businesses. Protest. Okay, there's protest. You're saying we could protest. That's the only way you all have handled it so far. And quite frankly, once you stopped killing the old people and you open things up, the virus rate skyrocketed, and the death rate actually is very minuscule now. So has really nothing to do with you guys except for the fact that you were killing people. But that's what you do in the Democrat Party, Joe. I mean, you kill babies and you kill old people. You might want to watch out there. You're no spring chicken.
The tragedy of where we are today is it didn't have to be this bad. Just look around. It's not this bad in Canada or Europe or Japan or almost anywhere else in the world. And the president keeps telling us the virus is going to disappear. He keeps waiting for a miracle. Well, I have news for him. No miracle is coming.
Wow. What are you, God? I don't think so. I don't think so, Joe Biden. I think you're Joe Biden. I think you're Joe Biden who sniffed dope with your son, who had an affair with his dead brother's wife. I think you're that guy who swims naked in swimming pools while Secret Service stands around you. I think you're the guy that physically assaults young people constantly, smelling their hair, and you forget where you're at quite often. That's who you are, guaranteed.
We lead the world in confirmed cases. We lead the world in deaths. Our economy is in tatters with Black, Latino, Asian American, Native American communities.
Well, yeah, you do like to point out the color of people's skin, that's for sure. And you base everything that you want to give on the color of the skin. It's instead of the quality of their heart and their ethics and morals, you're always going to color. Color. Sounds like a song, doesn't it?
Bearing the brunt of it. And after all this time, the president still does not have a plan. Well, I do.
Oh, he's got a plan.
If I'm your president on day one,
oh boy, here he goes.
We'll implement
Tough Joe talk in 3, 2, 1.
The national strategy I've been laying out since March. We'll develop and deploy rapid tests with results available immediately. We'll make the medical supplies and protective equipment that our country needs. We'll make them here in America. So we will never again be at the mercy of China or other foreign countries in order to protect our own people. We'll make sure our schools have the resources they need to be open, safe, and effective. We'll put politics aside. We'll take the muzzle off our experts.
Just put it to the side. I'll take
the public gets the information they need and deserve.
As long as the experts agree with your politics. That's a caveat I'm going to put in there.
Honest, unvarnished truth.
Yep.
They can handle it. We'll have a national mandate to wear masks, not as a burden, but as a patriotic duty to protect one another.
Yeah, that's going to go over real well, Joe. There's so many people chomping at the bit to put those masks on. That's going to go over real well. You're going to have people get arrested because they don't want to wear a mask. And then you got people like me who have all the antibodies, and I don't care. I don't need to even wear a mask. What are you going to give me, a Star of David to wear on my side like we were back in Germany?
In short, we'll do what we should have done from the very beginning.
Yes. And that would have been, let me say it real quick before, because I know this is definitely what you're going to say, right? Because if we're thinking the same way, if we're on par for effective thinking, I would say we should have quarantined and protected the elderly. We should have set up clinics or set up ways where workers would have been clean without the virus and literally slept in the facilities in which they work for 14 days at a time, rotating back out, making sure that the virus did not get into those elderly homes. Anybody that had COVID would go to one of these major places that they set up around the big cities. Like in New York City, they had almost 5 of these. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars and never put anybody in. You would put them in there. Once we made sure that the elderly were secured, we would try to come up with ways for their families to visit them, because it's very important, because a lot of them will die if they don't get to see their families. They just will wilt away. And then together start coming up with a campaign, a real campaign, where doctors actually go over how effective these masks are. If they're not that effective, then they're just not that effective. And if they are effective, then tell the American people without bias, these masks are effective. Let us show you. Let us do this together. Not because we're wanting to force you, but because we want to ask you to stand with us and wear a mask, because we're going to show you that they're effective. No one has done that. And that is something that should be done. I hope you're tracking on this, Joe, because that's the way it is. That's what should be done. And then the other thing is also helping with those who had to close their restaurants, or those people who have different businesses that maybe they got sick, and trying to rotate around and help people keep their businesses open so that we can have an economy. Being inventive, thinking outside the box so that people can keep their businesses open, feed their family, and feed other people, employ people. And lastly, I'll just say this. Our military ships should be cleaner than they've ever been. And if somebody has a virus, get them off. But those ships need to be out to sea, and they need to stay there until this is over, because they're warships. And our veterans that are active duty with their families could have been locked down on these bases with nobody going off or on, ensuring that they did not get this disease. Now, lastly, I'll just say this, and because I know you're tracking, Joe. I know you're tracking. We should have allowed a portion of a few states to open up, and if they agreed, and let it spread, and truly see how the infection rate grows and how it can be taken care of, and concentrate on those states and see what that study shows. And then we would have had a better idea on how to open the rest of the stuff, because here's what I feel, having had the virus, having had someone close to me that died from the virus. I think that the majority of people will catch this, and it's not as bad as everybody thinks. I had it. It was bad, but it's not as bad as the flu that you have every year. It's a different type of sick. Some people it's bad. Some people it's bad, you know. But for me, it was bad, but it wasn't that bad. So anyway, that's what I'm trying to say, Joe. Those are the things that I would incorporate. And as far as this money goes, if somebody's working, they shouldn't be getting the stimulus bill. And if they get the stimulus bill, it should be utilized for things like food and groceries. Not to say that I did this, but virtual reality headsets and drone. But are you tracking, Joe? Let's see what Joe's saying.
Our current president has failed in his most basic duty to the nation. He's failed to protect us. He's failed to protect America.
I feel pretty protected. Nothing's really happened to me. I mean, there's only so many ways you can protect against a virus, and a president can't control everything. And see, this is the scary part. This is what I've learned recently, Joe. I'm sorry, interrupt you again, but the states themselves are the most likely to be tyrannical in their leadership now. I see that now. I don't know if that's the way it has been in history, but that's definitely the way it is. The more tyrannical the federal government gets, you can bet that the states are going to double that. That's what I've learned. Go ahead, Joe.
And my fellow Americans, that is unforgivable. As president, I'll make you a promise. I'll protect America. I will defend us from every attack, seen and unseen, always, without exception, every time. Look, I understand. I understand how hard it is to have any hope right now.
It's not that hard, really, to have hope. It's we don't have hope in you. That's the thing. Most people have hope in themselves. They know that they still have the ability to work and they're ready to go and they want to go work out or go to the pool or whatever. They have hope for that. They don't have hope in you, Joe. They don't have hope in you or the government. Sorry, I didn't mean to put it that way, but that's the truth.
On this summer night, let me take a moment to speak to those of you who have lost the most. I have some idea how it feels to lose someone you love.
Do you know how it feels when a governor puts a sick person in to a clinic where people are just getting rehab and 40 people die because of it? What do you do about that, Joe? How do you feel about that?
Of our party into the general election. So it's a great honor. Politics aside, on this summer night, let me take a moment to speak to those of you who have lost the most.
Sorry, I skipped around
I
there.
have some idea how it feels to lose someone you love. I know that deep black hole that opens up in the middle of your chest and you feel like you're being sucked into it. I know how mean and cruel and unfair life can be sometimes.
Yep.
But I've learned two things.
Just two things. He's
First,
learned two things. That's it.
Your loved one may have left this earth, but they'll never leave your heart. They'll always be with you. You'll always hear them. And second,
First of all, that's not true. Secondly, if it was, it would be very odd because I would be getting yelled at by my grandma constantly, I'm sure. Go ahead.
I found the best way through pain and loss and grief is to find purpose. As God's children, each of us have a purpose in our lives. We have a great purpose as a nation to open the doors of opportunity to all Americans, to save our democracy, to be a light to the world once again, and finally to live up to and make real the words written in the sacred documents that founded this nation, that all men and women are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Everything that Cuomo has taken away from us and the Democrat Party. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Not in New York. Not in many Democrat cities around or states around the country. I'm sorry, Joe, go.
You know, my dad was an honorable, decent man.
Really?
He got knocked down a few times, pretty hard. But he always got back up.
Okay.
He worked hard.
Was that?
He built a great middle class.
Was that Corn Pop? Was he your dad? Or was that just a fling, I think?
Life for our family. He used to say, Joey, I don't expect the government to solve my problems, but I sure in hell expect them to understand them.
He didn't know government very well.
And he'd say, Joey, a job is about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about your place in the community. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it.
My kidney has an eye?
I've never forgotten those lessons. That's why my economic plan is all about jobs, dignity, respect, and community. Together we can and will.
Sorry to interrupt you, Joe. You do realize cities are burning. Millions of Americans have no jobs. And literally the cities are burning down. Do you realize that? I don't think that you realize that. Yeah.
Rebuild our economy. And when we do, we'll not only build back, we'll build back better. With modern roads, bridges, highways, broadband, ports and airports as a new foundation for economic growth, with pipes that transport clean water to every community, with 5 million new manufacturing and technology jobs, so the future is made in America, with a healthcare system that lowers premiums.
Joe, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to tell me. You are very close with China. How are they going to feel when you try to do all this stuff in America? You're going to break their heart, Joe. Or you'll just continue to do stuff with them. One of the two. Right? Am I right?
Drug prices.
Am I right?
By building on the Affordable Care Act,
don't overtalk me, am I right?
Away. With an education system that trains our people for the best jobs of the 21st century. There's not a single thing American workers can't do. And where cost doesn't prevent young people from going to college and student debt doesn't crush them when they get out.
Well, that would be good, but it's not going to happen. These are all just things that they're saying. It's all, you're just saying it, Joe. It's not like you're really going to do anything about college. Every president that comes up talks about making college cheaper. It never works.
With the child care and elder care system that makes it possible for parents to go to work and for the elderly to stay in their homes with dignity. With an immigration system that powers our economy and reflects our values. And with newly empowered labor unions. They're the ones that built the middle class. With equal pay for women, with rising wages you can raise a child on, a family on. And yes, we're going to do more than praise our essential workers. We're finally going to pay them.
I literally fell asleep for about 2 seconds there for a minute.
Pay them. We can and we will deal with climate change.
Mm-hmm.
It's not only a crisis.
Really?
It's an enormous opportunity.
Oh.
An opportunity for America to lead the world in clean energy and create millions of new, good-paying jobs in the process.
And for you to extort.
And we can pay for these investments by ending loopholes, unnecessary loopholes, and the president's $1.3 trillion tax giveaway to the wealthiest 1% and the biggest, most profitable corporations, some of which do not pay any tax at all. Because we don't need a tax code that rewards wealth more than it rewards work. I'm not looking to punish anyone. Far from it.
Who asked you
But
to?
it's long past time the wealthiest people and the biggest corporations in this country paid their fair share. And for our seniors, Social Security is a sacred obligation, a sacred promise made. They paid for. The current president is threatening to break that promise. He's proposing to eliminate a tax that pays for almost half the Social Security without any way of making up for that lost revenue, resulting in cuts. I will not let that happen. If I'm your president, we're going to protect Social Security and Medicare. You have my word. One of the most powerful voices
so ferocious
we hear in the country today is from our young people. They're speaking to the inequity and injustice that has grown up in America. Economic injustice, racial injustice, environmental injustice. I hear their voices. If you listen, you can hear them too.
I'm listening.
Whether it's the existential threat posed by climate change, the daily fear of being gunned down in school, or the inability to get started in your first job.
The school thing could be fixed, but nobody wants to fix it. But they could do threat assessments. They could have my book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, the 2 workbooks that come with it. They could be teaching kids with Team Little Bigs, the Adventures of Team Little Bigs, a parent's book for children. It's got pictures and stuff that kids can learn awareness and communication skills. All this stuff could be minimized in schools, but they just don't do it. Just like the virus. They don't know what to do, and they just downplay it. Sorry, Joe.
It will be the work of the next president to restore the promise of America to everyone. And I'm not going to have to do it alone, because I'll have a great vice president at my side. Senator Kamala Harris. She's a powerful voice for this nation.
Oh, she's a powerful voice, all right. She also knows what a predator looks like, so be careful there, Joe.
Her story is the American story. She knows about all the obstacles thrown in the way of so many in our country. Women, black women, black Americans, South Asian Americans, immigrants, the left out and the left behind. But she's overcome every obstacle she's ever faced.
And slept with a lot of
No
dudes.
one's been tougher on the big banks and the gun lobby. No one's been tougher in calling out the current administration for its extremism, its failure to follow the law, its failure to simply tell the truth.
Lie, 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 lie.
Kamala and I both draw from our families.
Kamala.
That's where we get our strength.
Calls her Carmel.
For Kamala, it's Doug and their families. For me, it's Jill and ours. I've said many times, no man deserves one great love in his life, let alone two. But I've known two.
Polygamous?
After losing my first wife in that car accident,
Yeah. Jill
came into my life. She put our family back together. She's an educator, a mom, a military mom, and an unstoppable force.
Who doesn't like to wear patriotic
If she
colors.
puts her mind to it, just get out of the way. She's going to get it done. She was a great second lady. And I know she'll make a great first lady for this nation. She loves this country so much.
So much.
And I'll always have the strength that can only come from family.
The strength.
Hunter, Ashley, all our grandchildren, my brothers, my sister. They give me courage. They lift me up.
Let's hear some more about Hunter.
While he's no longer with us. Bo inspires me every day. Bo served our nation in uniform.
So did Hunter for a few hours.
Decorated Iraqi war veteran.
Yep.
So I take very personally the profound responsibility of serving as commander-in-chief.
So did Hunter. Hunter served too, but he got fired for cocaine. Don't forget that.
Make it clear to our adversaries.
He got fired for cocaine, don't forget.
Days of cozying up to dictators is over.
Hunter got fired for cocaine, don't forget.
Under President Biden,
Cocaine.
America will not turn a blind eye to Russian bounties on the heads of American soldiers.
No, but you will go
I'd
tell
put up with
classified
foreign
information.
Interference in our most sacred democratic exercise, voting.
Voting by mail now, I guess, right?
I'll always stand for our values of human rights and dignity. I'll work in common purpose for a more secure, peaceful, and prosperous world. History has thrust one more urgent task on us.
Run.
Will we be the generation that finally wipes out the stain of racism from our national character?
How are you going to push out racism if you all, the Democrat Party, identify everybody by their color and you call everybody racist if they don't identify them by their color? How are you going to get rid of it if that's the sole way that you identify these people? Come on, Joe. That's not going to help.
I believe we're up to it.
Yeah.
I believe we're ready. Just a week ago yesterday was the 3rd anniversary of the events in Charlottesville. Close your eyes. Remember what you saw on television. Remember seeing those neo-Nazis and Klansmen and white supremacists coming out of fields with lighted torches, veins bulging, spewing the same anti-Semitic bile heard across Europe in the 30s. Remember the violent clash that ensued between those spreading hate and those with the courage to stand against it. And remember what the president said when asked? He said there were, quote, very fine people on both sides.
There were people who were good people that were there to protest for the right reasons on both sides. Yes, that's correct. The president was correct in saying that. Not everybody there was trying to destroy the place.
It was a wake-up call for us as a country. And for me, a call to action. At that moment, I knew I'd have to run. Because my father taught us that silence was complicity. And I could never remain silent or complicit. At the time, I said we were in the battle for the soul of this nation. And we are. You know, one of the most important conversations I've had this entire campaign.
You're killing me. Can you just get through this speech, please?
It was someone who was
It's literally the darkest point in my life. Please finish.
much too young to vote. I met with 6-year-old Gianna Floyd the day before her daddy, George Floyd, was laid to rest. She's an incredibly brave little girl. And I'll never forget it. When I leaned down to speak to her, she looked in my eyes and she said, and I quote, "Daddy changed the world. Daddy changed the world."
And he was high when he did it.
Her words burrowed deep into my heart. Maybe George Floyd's murder was a breaking point. Maybe John Lewis is passing the inspiration.
No.
But however it's come to be, however it's happened, America's ready, in John's words, to lay down, quote, the heavy burden of hate at last.
John Lewis was a worthless
Then the hard
politician.
work of rooting out our systemic racism.
That you all
You know,
keep
American
promoting.
history tells us that
Joe, you all keep promoting this. Do you not realize this? It's not like conservatives go around all day wanting to point out the color of skin that someone has. That is you all. You want to be called black, or you want to be called Latino, or you want to be called the minority. It's you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
spend in our darkest moments that we've made our greatest progress, that we found the light. In this dark moment, I believe we're poised to make great progress again, that we can find the light once more.
Nope.
You know,
Yep.
many people have heard me say this, but I've always believed you can define America in one word: possibilities. The defining feature of America: everything is possible.
I actually use that word a lot. Possible.
That in America, everyone, and I mean
Like, there's no possible way that you will make a great president. There's no possible way. But go ahead.
everyone, should be given an opportunity to go as far as their dreams and God-given ability will take them.
Why did you just grab his ear?
We can never lose that. In times as challenging as these, I believe there's only one way forward. As a united America, united in our pursuit of a more perfect union, united in our dreams of a better future for us and for our children, united in our determination to make the coming years bright.
This is killing me.
Are you ready?
Where are we going?
I believe we are. This is a great nation. We're a good and decent people.
Except for the ones that want to destroy the Constitution, mostly the left. Like, we're talking like 60 million people who hate this country and want to destroy the Constitution and take it into communism. They're not good. They're not good people, Joe.
For sake, this is the United States of America.
No, not anymore. It's it's the United States. It's the states, but the people are not united. That's definitely true.
And there's never been anything we've been able to accomplish when we've done it together. The Irish poet Seamus Heaney once wrote,
I partied with that guy once.
"History says, don't hope on this side of the grave. But then, once in a lifetime, the longed-for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme. This is our moment to make hope and history rhyme."
I'm pretty sure that's not how that went. I'm pretty sure, and you jacked it up. It just didn't make any sense.
With passion and purpose, let us begin, you and I together, one nation, under God,
And a bump.
united in our love for America, united in our love for each other.
And you and Hunter want to go do a bump?
Love is more powerful than hate. Hope is more powerful than fear. And light is more powerful than dark. This is our moment. This is our mission. May history be able to say that the end of this chapter of American darkness began here tonight, as love and hope and light join in the battle for the soul of the nation.
The end of the darkness will start here tonight. That statement's so weird. It's nighttime, so it's going to be dark, okay? I don't know what you were talking about physically, or you talk about the state of affairs. Because it's not that dark if we would unlock these cities and protect the elderly. But you won't. You won't. It ain't getting
And
better.
this is a battle we will win, and we'll do it together. I promise you. Thank you, And may God bless you, and may God protect our troops.
Yeah.
Good night.
He may not make you hit our president. Good Lord, that was long. Okay, I'm sorry I made you battle through that. But I thought it was important. They were talking about how great it was and how incredible it was. And I have to go back to pull over here to Fox News because where is he here? Chris Wallace just evidently loved this. So I want to listen, see if we can hear Chris Wallace talk about it. Just for a minute. Hold on. Let's go. There's going to be a commercial.
Oh, I thought it was an enormously effective speech. Remember, Donald Trump has been talking for months about Joe Biden as mentally shot, a captive of the left. And yes, Biden was reading from a teleprompter and a prepared speech, but I thought that he blew a big hole in that characterization.
No.
You talked about the line that character is on the ballot, decency is on the ballot. He talked about a different path for the country. Not in a deep programmatic sense, but he did talk about plans for the virus and the economy.
Chris, he's high.
For climate change and race and foreign policy. And he talked about what a united America can do to accomplish all of those things. It seems to me that after tonight, Donald Trump is going to have to run against a candidate, not a caricature. The Democrats have had a good convention. Now it's the Republicans' turn.
Listening to Chris Wallace is like listening to a tiny boy describe the girl that he's in love with, and she can't do any wrong. That's what that sounded like. Absolutely ridiculous. He's just the biggest buffoon in media now. I mean, there's been a lot, but he's one of the worst. I tell you what, I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, I try to make it fun, but it is important to hear what he has to say because he's the top communist right now, and it's important to hear what he has to say. So let's take a break real quick. We'll come back, and then I got to talk about this Bannon thing. I didn't really want to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. So let's take a break. We'll be right back. Now, I know you've heard me talk about my best-selling book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, but do you fully understand how important it is right now for you to understand safety, awareness, and how an attacker may look at you? You know, one thing I always talk about is the possibility versus probability. Probability are numbers, but I think it's much better to look at who would attack, why they would attack, where it would happen, when it would happen, and how it would be carried out. And you look at it and you say, yeah, that could probably happen. Now, in order to do that, there's certain steps that you have to take that attackers use. Building a target package, looking for avenues of approach, looking for vulnerabilities they can exploit to get to those critical areas and assets at the right time. You can learn all that. It's not rocket science, and that's what the book teaches you. It also teaches you how to protect yourself using the information that you gained by looking at yourself from the attacker's point of view. It also has 2 workbooks. Workbook number 1 is the threat assessment workbook. Workbook number 2 is the defense assessment workbook. So you get the knowledge in the original book, you apply the knowledge in workbook number 1, and then you take that information and you build your defenses in workbook number 2. And to top it all off, The Adventures of Teen Little Bigs, a parent's book for children. It is an amazing, amazing book. The pictures, the illustrations are amazing. I went through with Daniel Kreiner. We put the lessons in the pictures, and then the parent goes to teamlittlebigs.com and downloads the lesson plans. Kid gets the books, parents get the lesson plans, everybody gets safer. Let's start the show. All right. Thanks again to Burnos for the intro song and the out song. And thanks to my good buddy Brian Gosher for all the music. He does a great job with all the different music. What else we got here? Let me play one more for you. See here.
Keep it going, clock it.
Yep, that's Brian.
I stay steady rocking.
Got to play the trumpet here. Hold on.
I stay steady rocking. Keep it going, clock it.
It's coming. Hold on.
I stay steady rocking.
It's as slow as Joe Biden.
Keep it going, clock it, clock it.
Get it.
Stay steady rocking.
Uh,
Keep it going, clock it.
uh.
Stay steady rocking. Keep it going, clock it.
Oh, man. I'm having too much fun on this Friday. So let me go back up here to the stories. So many stupid stories that are out there. Sturgis. I have to mention this. I'm going to tweet this out too. Sturgis, they said, the headline at Fox, Sturgis has at least 7 coronavirus cases in Nebraska. 7. There's like 1 million people there. No masks. Slamming all over each other. I've been to Sturgis. A bunch of sweaty, big people all over the place, laughing, coughing, drinking, throwing up, riding motorcycles, sweating some more, concerts at night. They're all pushed in together. If they only got 7 people with the virus, that's pretty damn good. There's nothing to worry about there. Good job, Sturgis. The way they put it was just, I haven't heard one report from anybody in media about these protests and how many people caught the coronavirus from that. None. Here's a good one. The Portland assault suspect, that's the guy who kicked the other guy in the head, knocked him senseless, and he was still in the hospital. That suspect takes to social media to beg for financial help. What a world we live in. He is an idiot. His name is Marquise Love. He's 25, and he needs to go ahead and spend another 50 years in jail. That's the way I feel about it. Just get rid of him. He's a menace to society and is using all this stuff to go out and further beat people. He's a weirdo. Chris Wallace, we already discussed that wacko. And what's this last one? Back to Joe Biden. There's not much in Drudge report. Let me look at this real quick. Same thing. Fox raves. They're reporting that Fox raves. 2 hurricanes are coming up. Rob O'Neill. Rob O'Neill got banned from Delta Airlines because he took a selfie without a mask. Damn it, Rob. You're such a criminal. Well, he likes to live by the seat of his pants, I guess, so we'll forgive him. He's a good man. He's a hero, and Laura Loomer is not. That's all I'll say about that. Now, the last thing I want to say as I close out here. Steve Bannon, man. I met Steve. He's an interesting guy, very eclectic, and I don't know what the heck was going on. I want to get the facts. I know what the complaint says, and I tend to believe the complaint because and this was the U.S. Postal Service, I believe, but they're very similar to the Bureau in the way that they don't go after somebody until they have proof. I mean, they go after them, they collect the proof, but they don't go arrest them until they have everything they need to get a conviction. And so I don't feel good about the outcome of this one. Certainly the optics are horrible. He was on a mega yacht owned by, and the guy was there, a billionaire Chinese guy who was a fugitive from Hong Kong. That doesn't look good. The whole thing is just pretty shambly, or isn't shambles, but I want to say at the beginning, or the title of the show, has to do with, let's see, what I say the title of the show was going to be. 2020, the year of I Told You So. And it really is. And I predicted so many things over the past year, telling people do not send money in. Do not send money in to build a wall. You know, if you want to go to my GoFundMe and give me some money and help me start traveling so I can get out there and meet you guys again, that's what I'd like to do. If you want to do that, that's fine. I won't protest against that, and I will use it. But I'm not asking for $20 million to build a wall. Look, if somebody gave me $20 million, I'm going to travel in the same van that I have out there. I'm going to count every penny, and we are going to have some rallies, and we're going to get this country back on track. That's probably not going to happen. I mean, people may send me 15 or 20 bucks, which I do have a thing coming up where I'm going to start signing some books. I got like 8,000 books out there I need to sign and sell. So stand by for that. I also have t-shirts and some hats that I need to sell. So I am going to be going on a trip here within a week, and I'll announce where I'm going to be then. And then I'm going to be the featured keynote speaker at the UDT SEAL Museum in Florida, at Fort Pierce, Florida. And that's going to be on November 7th. And that's going to be spectacular. It is one of the biggest honors I've ever had in my life to be able to be asked to speak there. I'm not kidding you. That is it's an honor. And it's one I take very seriously. So if you guys want to come down there, usually they have like 10,000 people down there. They do a demonstration. They do a working dog demonstration. They usually have helicopters and things. I'm not sure exactly what they'll have this year. Little different because of the COVID. But we'll see what they have. But you should come down there November 7th. Now, this thing with Bannon bothers me. And I'll tell you why it bothers me. Because I know Bannon. I don't know him extremely well, but I know him. He's a hardworking guy. He's a little odd, like everybody in media is a little odd. And I don't like the way this looks. I don't like the way what I'm reading. When I read the complaint, it does not sound good. It sounds like they made a lot of money, which I was telling. That's why this year's the I Told You So year. I was telling people on Sean Hannity's radio show when I hosted it, and I got pulled off the set, and I was told not to speak about that again. Because what I saw when that first came out, I did a little bit of research. I saw that Colfag and his father had problems with people, and when the reports were in, they were saying that they were nasty individuals, which they could be. I know the guy's got... he's a triple amputee. His legs are gone and part of his arm. I know that. But if you're doing criminal behavior, if you're a nasty person, it's going to get out no matter what. And he didn't get good reviews, nor did his father, about threatening people. And so I thought that was odd. And then when I found out how much money people were sending, might be $75 for one person or $100 for another person, they ended up taking in over $25 million. And they built a very small portion of the wall in this one particular place in Texas. Whether or not that wall will stand or they'll tear it down and put something up around it, I don't know. But it appears as though Steve Bannon was paid $1 million when they were all telling the public that they weren't going to take a dime. He took $1 million, and then the guy that was in charge of it took $100,000 down payment and $20,000 a month, and then lived a lavish lifestyle in Florida. And this upsets me greatly because, one, I don't like seeing Steve Bannon in this position. I think Steve Bannon's a great mind, and it's unfortunate if he went down this road, because if these charges stick, he's looking at 20 to 40 years in jail. That is rough. And I do think it's bad for the nation, because you need strong people like that standing up against, the left. The problem is a lot of these people have gone down these weird roads. They're almost conspiratorial, or they make things seem more conspiratorial. And it's kind of a sad state of affairs, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. I think I was going to say something else there, but I think I should cut it there. I think that's a good time. hour and 9 minutes. Hey, listen, if you haven't checked out connectzing.com, go check it out. It's a social media platform. I'm on there. Drago, my buddy's on there. And go check it out. It's you never know when Twitter and Facebook are just going to be taken down. And I don't know the long-term outcome of Parler. I sometimes hear there's some shady stuff going on over there. I may join Parler just to have it, but ConnectZing is my main place to be, right? So I want you to consider that. Well, tonight was an interesting show. Very mellow mood. But one thing of great importance did come out of the show. It's that when somebody that with experience, especially in investigating, looks at certain things that come up, and this is the way I was when I was hosting radio shows or podcasts, and I see a lot of these deals that are going on, like send $20 or $50 or $70, send it in, and we're going to build you a part of a wall. Listen, folks, you cannot win the war on immigration, the war on terror, the war against communism and our constitutional rights. You cannot win that from your couch, okay? I saw right through it. And I'm not glad that it happened, but I hope you take it to heart that if you want to make a change in this country and you want to fight communism, get off your ass and do it. I'm Jonathan Gilliam. This is The Experts. The truth has arrived. Peace, and we're out of here. Happy Friday, everybody.